Hey, what's up? It's me, Jenny V. Welcome to my channel. This is where we're going to talk about the truth, lies, and what's in between. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of different stories about different things that interest me, and hopefully they interest you too. But I'm always willing to accept, suggestions and comments about things you'd like me to talk about. Talk to you later. Okay, so let's now get into it. What really happened to Ronald McDonald? In order to figure out what happened to Ronald, let's quick cover a history of how McDonald's itself got its start. Are any of you out there familiar with The Founder, a documentary out on Netflix about McDonald's? Well, most of you have seen that, kind of know how McDonald's got its start, but for those of you who don't, it's an interesting story. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to cover it. Anywho, Maurice Mac McDonald, born 1902, and his little brother, Richard Dick McDonald, born 1909, known as the McDonald's brothers, found the very first McDonald's in 1940 in San Bernardino, California. This is where they supposedly created the speedy service system. Now, I say supposedly because I saw a bunch of sources out there state that White Castle was the first fast food restaurant to use the speedy service system, but there was no confirmed dates on who came up with it first. Anywho, when I looked up what speedy service system was, just to get a feel for, what they actually created, it said emphasize speed, lower prices, and volume, which basically encompasses what fast food is really all about, except for the prices these days would have people thinking. Why is all this relevant to what happened to Ronald McDonald, you might ask? Well, let me tell you. Ronald was not McDonald's very first mascot. Shocking, I know. McDonald's first mascot was a play off of their speedy service system in the way of naming the character himself, Speedy. Speedy was a hamburger that had a face, wore an entire chef's outfit complete with a bow tie. It was designed to give the customer the intent that the service was fast. Now, the fun fact here is that Speedy even predates the famous golden arches that McDonald's is known for, which didn't get established until 1962. But Speedy, their little character that they came up with, was quickly, tossed around that it quickly resembled the Alka-Seltzer Speedy logo. And not wanting their fast food to be associated with indigestion, they quickly dropped Speedy as their character in 1963 for none other than Ronald McDonald. We all grew up on good old Mickey D's. For the Gen Xers and early millennials, we very much remember the famous clown that donned his face all over the fast food joint. Ronald the Clown was created to basically replace the popular Bozo the Clown that had a popular TV show on during that time. McDonald's saw an opportunity to create a mascot that would ultimately help them sell hamburgers by appealing to family and specifically children. It was created, at the very least, the image of Ronald was created by Willard Scott. He was the guy that played Bozo the Clown on the TV show at the time, and that TV show was coming to an end, so McDonald's kind of stepped in and talked to Willard Scott and said, hey, would you like to be the clown mascot of our fast food restaurant and help us sell some burgers? So Willard, got all dressed up, and he became the very first Ronald McDonald. Sorry, I hit the camera. McDonald's would never actually give Willard Scott the credit. They would say that he merely just portrayed Ronald those first few years. But the original Ronald McDonald had spaghetti-like hair. He wore a red and yellow striped suit, had a tray of hamburgers, fries, and milkshakes as a hat. Now, his appearance changed and costume changed over the years as time went on, but good old Ronald remained the same. McDonald's used Ronald in advertising all over the place and even created the Ronald McDonald House Charities, which allows parents and families of sick children to have a place to stay while their loved one is receiving care, much like St. Jude's does. McDonald's even went so far as to have him appear in a kids' TV show called McDonaldland, which also included some other characters some of us dearly remember as well, with the likes of the Hamburglar, Mayor McCheese, Grimace, Birdie the Early Bird, and the McFry Kids. These characters were everywhere back in those days, even in the play places that all the McDonald's added so that the children would have something to do when the families came to dine at their restaurants. But over time, these supporting characters started to fade away and weren't seen as much, but Ronald McDonald, remained the same. He was still there. So let's get into the good parts. In the mid-2000s, there was a big push from doctors, health professionals, and all types of advocates to have the clown retired, citing appealing to children was contributing to obesity. In addition to that, I found a very interesting story that I was not able to establish a link between the two. I just thought it was very coincidental. In 1998, right around the same time that the supporting characters started to disappear and Ronald was kind of on his own, but he was still supporting McDonald's. In 1998, a man actually named Ronald McDonald was convicted of child sexual abuse. I found the name alone would make people associate the two. But not only that, on top of that, the other part that makes me think that people would associate the two is that this man, Ronald Carroll McDonald, was a year-round Santa Claus, and he had been abusing children for 25 years. Now, Santa's no clown, but if you're a big character that appeals to children on a mass level, and you're Ronald McDonald doing the very same thing, I feel like people would make the link. Nevertheless, never found a link between the two stories. Now, while Ronald started to appear less and less from this point on, it's said that McDonald stood by the clown and said Ronald was here to stay. Until 2016. Yeah, in 2016, a lot of stuff went down. Anyone out here remember the creepy clown sightings that circulated the internet a few years back? Anyone? I know I remember. I really do not like clowns for many reasons. I probably saw the movie It when I was young, entirely too young. Been scarred ever since. But anyway, the creepy clown sightings struck a chord with me, and I'm sure it struck a chord with a lot of people. So, people that used to think that clowns were happy, cheerful, and fun-loving and all that started to associate clowns with bad things, because for those of you out there who don't remember this period in time, people were dressing up as clowns and standing out in fields in the dark and creeping people out. Sometimes they would stand in people's yards. They would even have weapons. So people were absolutely terrified of what was actually going on. So it was actually this situation that made McDonald's decide that they wanted to retire Ronald, because they didn't want their restaurant associated with the creepy clown sightings and have people not want to come out and eat their burger in support of something, to get rid of the creepy clown sightings. But don't be too sad for Ronald, because they still kept Ronald McDonald the face of all their children's charities. And there's rumors that they may or may not be bringing Ronald back. At the time that they started to disassociate with the Ronald and the creepy clown sightings, about 2016-ish, there were rumors of this time that McDonald's had started to want to go in a different direction. They wanted to attempt to appeal to their older customers versus their younger customers, and you'll notice this change in that Ronald started to appear less and less on their advertisement, and they were gearing more towards the McCafe brand that they were introducing. There were also many sources out there that said ad agencies were doing research and reporting on consumers, and they would constantly tell McDonald's that they needed to retire the clown because his ads were no longer effective, and it was a serious concern that appealing to children was contributing to obesity in the country. Alright, well that's going to do it for today. Let me know in the comments below if you think that McDonald's is going to restore their former glory in Ronald McDonald, or if maybe anyone wants to hear the spinoff about Ray Kroc and how he basically stole McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers. The McDonald's brothers even retained the very first store that they opened in 1940 in San Bernardino, but in the deal that they had made with Ray Kroc in selling McDonald's, they didn't remember to retain the name. So when Ray took over the business, he got the name McDonald's. And so the McDonald's brothers renamed that original McDonald's restaurant into, I think it was Big M is what they went with. And they didn't want to sell that store. So I think that in one of the sources that I saw, it said that they left that original store to the employees that originally started working there with the McDonald's brothers. If I read it correctly, now today it's like the McDonald's Museum or something like that. But the very first McDonald's was not included in the deal of McDonald's brothers selling the business to Ray Kroc. But that's a whole other spin-off story. Let me know if you're interested. There's also like an entire spin-off story if anyone is interested in the Monopoly scandal. If anyone remembers the Monopoly game that McDonald's used to run every year, there was a big scandal in that and how there was no way any of us average people ever had a chance to win. But anyway, that's going to do it for tonight. Let me know what you think in the comments below and look out for my next video. Thanks, guys. Hey, what's up? It's me, JenniV. Stick around if you want to know about the truth, lies, and what's in between. I'm going to be uploading videos every week, and we're going to be talking about different topics. If anyone has any suggestions, don't be afraid to leave a comment below. See you guys next time.